Look at us up on Doc Reo TV.
You know what time it is, folks. That's right. It's time for more In the Hot Box with Doc Reo. That's right. We are bringing this show back, and I am back on the air coming to you with, I don't know yet. I haven't even decided what I'm going to talk to you about today. I just wanted to make sure I came back on the air. And there's a few things that I could talk to you all about, playing with my Elite. Gotta move this thing. But there's a few things I could talk to you about. The only thing is, will that change my display right now? I wonder what my display is saying right now. Oh, I can see it over here. That difference between a cell phone and the right phone and whatever. Let's see. Let's see what we got. We're on a teen rated. Everything is going good the way it's supposed to. It's looking good. Everything is pumping. All right. Well, one of my lights went out in that process. I said process. And it shouldn't be pumping. I should not be hearing it that way. There we go. Sorry about that. Y'all are probably getting a double echo, or maybe not. But yeah. Anyway, what was I getting at? Well, I was pretty much getting at the fact that one of my lights was out, and it just really kind of bugged me, the fact that it was out. And I didn't know why it was out. I didn't know why it wasn't working. And so I went through this series of testing before I came back and turned the lights back on just to see what happened. And I thought it was the power supply box. Well, yeah, it was the power supply, but it was something as simple as one of those old beatbox or old hand radio, beach radio, this small little radios with the CD players that we used to carry around and take out places. One of those little plugs. And so I almost threw a whole bunch of bags of different plugs away, and I'm glad I didn't, because in that bag was a cable that I needed to get the lights back up and running. So you just never know what you need when you have equipment, especially when it comes to cabling. So In the Hot Box. So some of you probably want to know what In the Hot Box is all about. In the Hot Box is a show that I started back in 2011 with the likes of a few people. Rich Bucks, I just saw him yesterday, as a matter of fact. Rich Bucks, part of Reo Bucks, and the other half of Reo Bucks. Edric Stitz of Push Button Entertainment, and let me see. I started with Louis Vidot of 10th Street Music, and let me see. I don't really know if Blake really started it, but he definitely rooted us on the whole time and encouraged us, and he was definitely a part of the group that put it together. He wasn't around as much as he'd like to be, because he had family and stuff, but he was definitely one of the people in the group who inspired us to keep pushing on and keep putting out content. So I want to attribute this to all those who came together to help us put In the Hot Box together, and I'll start explaining what it is. All right. I definitely want to thank those folks, though, who came together to give me the inspiration to keep this going. Whether or not, I can get everybody involved at all times, but we can keep it going and actually come back and communicate with each other on things that we've learned over the past 9 years. Wow. 9 years of In the Hot Box, on and off. It even became a online radio show. So to tell more people what it is, it's a show. It's a show that stems off the fact of things that happen inside the LA Hot Box. Now, I branched the show out a little bit further when I started going to places like NAB, and I had extra content left over that wasn't sold to outlets. And so when I had extra content, I'd figure out ways to cut that extra content together and use it for In the Hot Box, whether it be, interviewing somebody in the booth or putting a package together of where I'm sitting down and interviewing another producer artist, which I'd still love to get Miss Verona back on and actually finish her story. I really wanted to get her story out there because, I think it's important to see artists of different cultures, especially not just different cultures, different sexual orientations do their life and live their life and be successful. And so I think that's important, and I like to get stuff like that out there. One of the things that we do in the hot box is we have gone in the past, gone around the community and found different people, different personalities, different people who have been successful in business, successful in life, and reached out to them and brought them in the studio to interview them. And I can show you some of the shows that we put out. I can actually play back some of the interviews that I've put out. But I'd rather start developing that to bring that back to you today. And so that's what In the Hot Box is going to be about. And it may not be the same as it was before when we talk about radio show or when we talk about live in the studio, but I have a series of different shows that I would like to work with different individuals out here in LA County, and as well as different individuals across the United States that like to sit down and have different shows, maybe live webcam interviews or actual live in-person shows where people are moderating and sitting down and interviewing other people. And so I'll tell you more about that after I sit down with the different folks I've networked with over this past season to figure out how many shows we can put out. And I'm planning to put out 4 shows in one. So when we talk about In the Hot Box, we would like to have my interest in this is to have a goal where I start out possibly with, my show right here, maybe early in the morning, start out opening up with In the Hot Box and start out with, maybe some news, information, content, and then give you some tips on, media as well as, on delivering your media or delivering content. And then after that, go into a series of different shows. The next hour will be one of the other shows by one of the other people involved. And so that will be a pre-recorded show, but at the same time, it will be connected. Or it may be a dual live show where 2 of us are FaceTiming, live stream, and we are streaming it right here on Mixer. So it all depends on how the show develops and how each particular producer of their own show decides how they want their own show to go. But like I said, I'm still coming back. I will be here with In the Hot Box, if not once a week, once a month, definitely right here on Mixer. I don't need to be signed to Mixer to do what I want to do. I'm using Mixer as a platform to share stuff with you. So I wasn't meaning to rhyme, but that happens sometimes. And that's a different part of me. The musical side of me likes to rhyme stuff, put stuff together. So you will catch me rhyming from here to there. You will catch me coming up with different statements. You will catch me coming up with different quotes like Docisms. Space is necessary for things to grow. And I needed that space so that I can grow and come back for you here. So I needed that space so I can get stuff done with school, get my stuff in place so I can graduate and come back here. I was trying to do too much in September and October, and I had to let it go for a little bit. I had to let Mixer go because it would have hindered my first goal. And my first goal needed to be complete first. Now I can come back a little bit stronger, a little bit more thoughtful, and a little bit more laid out until I build up the show the way I'd like to build up the show. And so the content that we will be having on In the Hot Box, we will probably start out with people's content once a month. So we can get these particular producers in the motion, in the segment that they want to produce, laid out the way they'd like to lay it out. And so they can plan and get used to the process. Once we get used to the process, we may even have these different individuals come in live on a constant basis, depending on how we grow the platform, how we grow the show. So a lot of people were probably waiting for me to, because I said I would. I may have to lay off of a couple of, actually I already did. I already said that I am not going to go to GrowthCon this year. As much as I promised Grant Cardone, and I hate to break this promise, but there was something your brother said last year, or was it your brother? One of the speakers said last year at GrowthCon, and they said something about, and I'll be honest, I'm missing the tooth, so I'm gonna bring it up. They said something about people not having their teeth fixed and talking to people, but they spent the money to grow to GrowthCon. Maybe they need to go ahead and spend the money to get their teeth fixed first before they spend the money to go to GrowthCon. Now, I'm not worried about getting this tooth fixed whatsoever as much as I'm worried about building my business or building this stream better for those watching it. That to me is more important. Laying out a better stream and preparing a better show for you all is more important to me. And so that is my priority. And that's why I need to back off of a couple events. I also did not get assigned, or haven't found an opportunity to get assigned to PAX South yet. Even though I was planning to go and I'd like to meet up with people, I'd like to get in that ring, meet up with people and go skating and everything. I may need to put that off so I can build this properly too, so I can keep this going the way it needs to on Mixer. A few things happen. Matter of fact, let me show you real quick. It kind of sucks. It really kind of sucks. But part of my gaming experience has been, let's just say part of my gaming experience has been altered. And it's been mainly altered because, I tried to alter my gaming experience and alter my viewing experience on my TV, and that meant lowering it so that it wouldn't be so high, so my neck wouldn't be up, which right now you can see, if you used to be gaming, you can see I'm kind of at a different angle now, because now I can see the TV is at a lower angle, except one small problem. This happened. My thumb decided it wanted to push the bottom of the screen, and at the very bottom of the screen, I broke my TV. There goes 50 inches that I hadn't had for 6 months yet. So, I just barely had it for 6 months, broke my TV. That changes my gaming perspective, and that changes all of that when it comes to how I'd like to do this. Now, for me, I gotta have a big screen TV when it comes to the gaming perspective. It's just that part. But I had already decided when I came in and said I was gonna do in the hot box, I had already decided that I was going to come on and do something for you all that was going to be more of a web show. Yeah, I may game late nights here and there, but if I game late nights here and there, I may not broadcast. So that just might be the way it might be, depending on one of my partners in crime on here, that we should be doing Apex Legends together, and we were supposed to be doing football together, but we both kind of fizzled out of NFL real fast when we couldn't get our group together the way we'd like to. But we're still working on things, and we're still putting things together. So with that being said, let's figure out what I should be talking about today. Now, I think the last time I talked about the Doc Reo's 5 laws, and I didn't really dig into them, or I did dig into them, and I didn't really rebroadcast that particular podcast. That's what
I need a corporal. You're it until you're dead, or till I find somebody better.
I will probably I'll probably be rebroadcasting it soon. Plus, I got some content from a couple of veterans representatives I want to share out with you.
I need a corporal. You're it until you're dead, or till I find somebody better.
School, and you're a veteran, this is some information that you might want to hear about. And so I'm definitely going to rebroadcast some of that soon as well. As far as the computer is concerned, I was working on that. As you can probably see behind me, I got a power supply, I got parts coming in, but things happen in life. Emergencies like breaking a TV and blowing an AC compressor on my car. So that kind of changed my situation a little bit. So I'm going to work out those situations, which I'm still working out, and get back to you. In the meantime, get back to you when it comes to as far as how I'm gonna build a computer system yet. Right now I'm still on the MacBook Pro, and I'm probably gonna switch over to one of my iMacs soon to make it broadcast better, kind of add to the spectrum of broadcasting here. So, and I'm probably going to change the direction of everything. You may not see this background anymore. I may actually go with a green screen soon. And if I go with the green screen soon, that means I'm going to change the way I layout or what desk I use, what position. Actually, I'll be faced that way now, and broadcasting and gaming will definitely take a back turn to this type of broadcast. So, let's see here. I'm actually looking, Banther fodder. I'm actually looking to see what I will be broadcasting for you all. And you know what? I want to hear something real quick. Can I even hear myself? I hope you all are still hearing me. Wait, actually, hold on. Let's see how you all are hearing me. That gives me an idea of what's going on here. Let's see. Yeah. Okay, so that's cool. I like that. Okay, cool. So that's a double check. Sometimes I got to double check to make sure because I forget that I'm using the mic that I'm using and how I'm using it, and I need to use it properly. You know what I mean? So, yeah, it needs to be pointing directly at me when I talk, and that's just the way it is. But you know. Anyway, let's see here. I'm not even sure what I should talk to you all about just yet. You know what? I know what I'm going to talk to you all about. There are a lot of people out there writing scripts, and I can't really get into details on certain things, but there are a lot of you all out there writing scripts, right? And submitting scripts, submitting proposals for different things that you want to put out there in a fictional or non-fictional world. And I've been script reading now for a semester, and we'll be script reading a little bit longer, but I've script read things before that. And let me rephrase that. I've been doing script coverage for the past semester with as part of my internship with a company, American High. And I can't mention anything about what's going on inside the scripts, but I can mention some of the perspective that I've gotten as far as things that I believe you shouldn't be doing when you write your script. And maybe I could be wrong in some cases, but I think the majority of certain things we have actually been taught from other script writers as well in the classes that I've taken, as well as the positions that I've been in. And I think the more and more I read scripts, the more I understand a little bit more about how things should lay out better. And I am actually more confident after reading other people's scripts of writing my scripts, because I've seen some scripts out there. Anyway, with that being said, one of the things that I've been at fault for when writing scripts, and I've had people talk a lot of mess about, I've had people say a little side jokes, man, it's pretty robust, or it's pretty thick, or all kind of different things in regards to my script, is because at one time I was writing scripts with descriptions that were almost 5/6 of a page long. Now, or 5/8 of a page long. I don't know why I said 5/6. 5/8 of a page long. Now, I was going to say 5 or 6/8 of a page long. Now, for those who don't know much about what that means, when I say 5/8 of a page of a script, it is like looking at a page, all right? Let's say, for instance, this page right here. Say this is a script right here. Consent form for binge watching survey. All right, that's fine. Doesn't have anybody's name on it. Let's say this is a page, right? And this is a page of a script. And you are actually reading this page of this script and going down the page. Now, a whole page is considered, a whole page would be considered 8/8 of a page, all right? The page is broken into 8s so that if there's a certain section of the page that you want to refer to, especially as a script supervisor or a director, or you're in a script read, or you're an actor, or you're working out things with, a writing team, so that you can refer to the particular section of that script and understand how to find it quickly. So I could say, this is page 1 and 5/8 would be somewhere around here. 5. So you see, you go by the inch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, I was a little bit high. 6, 7, 8. It's because I'm looking at the screen trying to see it while I'm broadcasting it to you. So I'm just moving my finger. So 5/8 would be somewhere around here. You know what I mean? 6/8 would be somewhere around here. So I was making descriptions that read like this, and the dialogue would barely start on the barely bottom of the page, and there'd be another description that was about 2-3/8 page, and there'd be a little bit of dialogue. Now, when it comes to screenwriting, that's terrible. Nobody wants to read that much description. They want to start to hear the characters. They want to start to, okay, the reason why is because the description is going to be this long description, but you're not going to hear the long description when you see the movie. You're just going to be seeing this part. So it only gives you about maybe a couple of seconds. All that long writing description is only about a couple of seconds on the screen. So there's no need to show all of that. What you need to see is people conversing. What you need to see is the character being the character. And you need to hear that from either the character's mind, thinking of the things that they're doing, or the character's vocal voice. So, or even off screen. You can show all those images, but the character needs to be having some dialogue. And so my thing that I want to portray to you all, one of the major rules is less description, more dialogue. You know, it's not important to give you this visual overflow of information. You know, you don't have to tell me the acorns have fallen out of the tree when the acorns have nothing to do with the story. But you can tell me that there's acorns in the tree, that's an acorn tree, and I can get a visual picture enough of what the surrounding description is. So that's one thing that I want to say. And in speaking of descriptions, this one bugs me. Don't tell me that I will like a character, or don't all of a sudden break the point of view to tell me something that I would be interested in the script, in your description. That is just terrible. Don't dig. No, you know, Tom is a scrawny but popular. No, I don't even want to say scrawny. That's something that I was just writing this morning. I don't even know if I'm going to use that. But Tom is a popular jock who is having a hard time figuring out his mathematics. But because he's great in all his other classes, you would like him. I shouldn't hear that in my description. I shouldn't be thinking about I would like this person in my description. I don't think that's, you know what I mean? If you give me a description of a person and you tell me a little bit more about them, but people like him, but you know what I'm saying? He's popular and people like his attitude. That makes me think that I'm probably going to like him. You know, so it's just a point that came across my head. You know, I've seen a lot of scripts dig in and not really carry the plot. It's probably not the best thing for your story to introduce character after character after character after character after character. And then by the time you've introduced all these characters, you're slamming together a story at the end of the story, and it doesn't really lay out a plot. That's, you know, if you got a lot of characters, you can gradually bring them in, but follow the plot of the story. Actually follow the story. Have a story arc, you know, where the story starts out and increasingly climbs to its climax, and then gives you a brief denouement. And that's another thing. I've seen some denouements that have been extended denouements. People are dragging it out to create more pages. If your script isn't 120 pages, make it a 90-page script. You know, make it a 90-something. Anywhere from 90 to 120 pages is fine. You don't have to kill us with dragging out the story because you think you need to fill a story mark. You know, that's not necessary. Let me see. What else? These are just things that I've beaten into myself before, especially when I went back to Kenneth. Why am I forgetting his last name? because he likes to call him Kenneth, one of my professors at Pierce College. That was all this is some of the stuff he said, but all this stuff is some of the stuff I've known for years. And I had to read, because I hadn't written scripts in a while. When I had to write one for him, I had to reiterate these things into my scripts, just like I'm trying to tell you to do that for yours. If you're writing a script, if you're a screenwriter, or you want to put something out there, matter of fact, I need to go and read this cat Matt's script. I forgot about that. I need to read your script. Forgot that you gave it to us in the middle of the semester, and I told you I'd read it later, and I still haven't read it yet. So I will get back to you, Matt, on that script. I definitely want to, give you a little bit of coverage and tell you what I think. But at the same time, now, let's take scripts to another side of this. And I'll probably dig more into scripts later. There's a lot that I can talk about as far as things you shouldn't do, but I don't want to make the mistake of talk about something that's actually in a script and deliver it here for you. So I want to write some situations down in my own way and actually use those situations. I'm going to have to write parts of a script and then talk about those parts of a script that I don't feel should be added, but definitely descriptions, cut the descriptions down. Don't add extra nonsense. Don't keep jumping from character to character or groups of characters to characters to try to introduce them and force dialogue on, and make sure that you're actually using the dialogue and the story to carry that story arc. Last but not least, when you get ready and you do get this script passed or into a phase of production, past pre-production, after you've gotten your whole crew and everything and you want to get started, not gotten your whole crew, after you get past the initial stages of development and you get ready to get into pre-production. So once you get past development and you get into pre-production, I forgot what I was going to talk about. We can talk more about your SAG-AFTRA signatory budget. And so I want to get into breaking that down soon too. So that's something else I'll get into. And budgeting is interesting. Budgeting is very, very interesting to me because I believe you can do so much with a budget that a lot of people don't really understand. And you can really mold and craft your show according to your budget. As long as your creative producer, when they develop the budget, understands the show, understands every detail, looks into things like, if there are going to be explosions, how many explosions? Are we going to use particular cars? Are there cars in this explosion? What time of day are we shooting? You got to really dig in and look at every detail. And one of the things I say about SAG-AFTRA signatory budgeting is that you really got to know the script. And that means even if you wrote the script, I have scripts that I've written that I don't really know the script. I got to reread the script to know the script when I get ready to shoot it for film or for television. And that means I might read it 20, 25 different times. I might go through it, edit it 20 different times. It might be a shooting script and I may be ready to shoot, but I will go through it and edit that shooting script. Maybe put notes or different things that I want on that shooting script to help me get through that budget, to help me lay out that budget the way I need to lay it out for this particular production. And that means sitting down with the director and sitting down with the DP and really understanding their vision. Because I might say, this scene only has 5 car explosions, but the director might say, well, we only need 1 car explosion. To get the point across, I might only need to get it at this angle because I don't need to envision that, because the important part that I want to stand out in this story is over here in this scene. So it's an understanding of your crew. It's an understanding of, the symbiotics between making something creative and seeing it into fruition. And so that's all I really have to say about screenwriting and scripting for now. So let's get on to another part and see. I didn't even plan this out. I didn't even plan this out at all. I just kind of got together to see Oh, yeah. Now, for the next half of this, I want to talk a little bit about something that I'm going to be building a whole lesson on, and it's called flow text. Flow text. I was reading this book over here. Hold on for a second. This book, Ratings and Analysis, and it just so happens this is a book that I got for my class, CTVA 475 Audience Analysis with Dr. Todd Holmes. And I found that book to be very, very useful as far as gaining a little bit more knowledge on how we see our audience and putting together things that I need to put together, like setting up a focus group, looking deeper into surveys and analyzing show ratings and understanding show ratings. So if you start to see me posting more about show ratings and what's going on and what's falling off, it's because I'm paying attention to the hot sheets that way. I've been paying attention to the hot sheets anyway, but I haven't been serving you all the hot sheets on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook and LinkedIn like I should. So, and you're probably going to see some more writings come out from me on LinkedIn, reports that I'll be giving away for free. I'll be giving away some reports for free. I'm looking at a book I got here of a pricing scale, and I don't want you to see all that because I've got some things that I'm doing, and I'm giving away certain things for free, and I'm preparing certain things for those people who would like to, pick up documentation, white sheets, studies, case studies, and evaluations on how to get a better audience on your platforms, or on how to understand your audience for the content you're attempting to create, because that's the most important part. It has not so much to do with, understanding how to spoof your audience, but understanding how to create your content so that you can deliver it to your audience the way they want to receive it. And so that, nobody likes to sit out here and put out content and then it gets misinterpreted by the people you deliver it to, and they get the wrong impression. We all want to convey a message, and we want that message to be received the way we convey it. So that's the gist of that. But when we talk about flow text, there is this new idea out there. There's this new concept. Well, not really a new concept, but this new way of thinking that we've come into because of streaming media, because of being able to access media so fast, and because of social media. All right. And that is flow text. Flow text is a concept that I'd like to really dig into a little bit more, but it has to do with the idea that we as individuals see contextual content as, or we see media, film, television, video, all that as contextual content now. That it comes across in a different form for us in today's age. Meaning, instead of back in the day when people would sit back and watch TV and just zone out on TV, now we kind of interact with it as if we're watching CNBC go by with the ticker above and below the screen, content constantly flaring all over the screen. This is how we view our content now, as flow text. We see it as textual content in our brain. We see it like we would see textual content. We could be watching a movie, but we're taking it in the same way we would take in textual content. For some people, that's been a regular part of their viewing experience. And this is specifically those who are hearing impaired. Their ability to take in content has been contextual content. And many of people have been used to that for some time. We as media consumers have not all been as much aware as much of that in our lives. And some of us are now morphing to it. Some of us are denying it. There are generations that would rather not have digital media at an arm's length. They would love to have it at a couch's length or a coffee table's length at all times. And those people and those particular individuals may still take content as media, as something they can zone out on and something they can release to. Whereas today, I believe a lot more of us are taking this content as something we are constantly working our minds to understand, working our minds to partake of, and working our minds to really break down. We're unpacking things constantly. We're going down, things like we would see on billboards. We would see billboards on a daily basis, but we see billboards all the time now on all of our media, on every single ounce of our media. We're seeing advertising. We take it all as contextual content. Even if it's advertising something that's in the show, talking about something that's inside the show, we're seeing it. Gaming. When we're doing gaming, when we're in the midst of trying to zone out in another world and do something totally different, we're constantly taking in content, and we're taking in ads in the games. If you haven't really noticed, company ads, ads for buying products inside the game. This is just the way our society is evolving and what our society is becoming. So my thought process is soon we will all be storytelling through flow text. And if we're all storytelling through flow text, excuse me, I can't lift my arm up high enough, frozen shoulder, to cough into it. So I got to use the other arm, and I'm not used to using this side. But I like to do some storytelling through flow text. And I'm not going to tell you exactly any more about that because I'd be giving it away before I actually do it. But I'd like to see this new concept come into play and how we can tell our stories from a filmmaking television perspective, and how we can tell them in a smaller bite-sized chunks. Like, for instance, shows like, what is the name of that show? Oh my goodness. Carmela or something?
Push button, baby. Push button, baby.
I think that's it. Carmela? Yeah, Carmela. This is a show on YouTube called Carmela, and each episode is about 2 minutes, 38 seconds, but they're good. They're good little bits. They're in a dorm room, and they're actually acted out really well. These actors, everything they did was really, really well done. So I'm pretty impressed by the show, and it's actually a well-known show. So, but with the idea that we can actually produce 2 to 3 minute segments, deliver those 2 to 3 minute segments, and they come across to the recipient or the viewer as flow text. Little bite-sized bits of information that they can partake and hold on and wait till the next time they see another episode. Or we can actually make a whole piece, a whole film from A to B, having cliffhangers at every 2 minutes of the film, and break it up. I mean, they don't have to be big cliffhangers, but break it up into segments that where we can actually break it down into 2 to 3 minute segments of a whole piece and deliver it as binge-worthy content. Binge-worthy content. And yes, that's right. I did a study on binge-worthy content, and it seems that majority of the binge-worthy content today is on Netflix. It's almost like Netflix inspired the word binge-worthy, inspired the phrase binge watching. It's almost like Netflix is the channel for binge watching. According to the statistical data I've collected, or we collected as a group in CTVA 475 audience analysis, we collected some data on binge watching from the perspective of Amazon Prime. And what we found in our data is that the majority of people binge watching content are binge watching content on Netflix. They don't binge watch as much on Hulu. They don't binge watch as much on Amazon. And all these new channels like Disney Plus, Peacock that are coming out, they haven't had an opportunity to be binge worthy. So Netflix is the binge-worthy channel. And if you actually look at Netflix and scroll down, you will find a category that says binge-worthy films, binge-worthy television, binge-worthy television, TV shows. And it's astonishing. It's almost like they invented the idea. They probably did. But through the aspect of watching their audience and watching their audience binge watch content. So how many times can I say binge worthy or binge watch? I don't know. I said it a lot in that study. But when we come to find out, there are different aspects to that. And I like the different aspects that I found out. One of the major aspects I found out in binge worthy content is that the character value is more important to anything else. And that leads me back to script writing. Your character value can't be important when you're writing tons of descriptions. The only way your character value can increase is by what your character says. The characteristics of your character come through the dialogue and come through the character's actions. Actions can be shown in descriptions, but you can only show actions so far if the character is not speaking some kind of dialogue. When it comes to television and film, if the character is not speaking some kind of dialogue off screen, in a voiceover, like coming from their head, or directly speaking the dialogue on screen. So it's useless for you to make a script that has tons and tons of descriptions, and stay away, if you are making that script, stay away from giving the director directions on how to do it. I understand that idea of writing the script in a format to lay out the script so that the director makes choices according to how you write the script, but don't stop giving directors stop directing in your script. Lay out the dialogue so that it lays that way, and then don't only use the descriptions only to kind of discover things. I shouldn't see dialogue and then, oh, he moves this way, dialogue and he does this, dialogue, and then bits in continuous dialogue where the same person is talking and you're only breaking up the dialogue because you're dropping in descriptions to try to say that he's doing something in the process. And he could be talking with another person, but in between their two dialogue, you're telling him how his hand moves, how he's moving around, the way he's looking at somebody. It's good to have bits and pieces of that, but the dialogue should convey that attitude. That attitude should be easily conveyed. So, and it's not meant to be done all the time. Bill Pulte putting up a 2020 symbol. Getting close to 2020. So, leave it to Beaver. So if you are and leave it for later. I keep calling him Leave It to Beaver. I don't know why, but leave it for later. Doug, isn't his name Doug? I think his name is Doug. I haven't seen him on Twitter lately. I haven't been on Twitter lately. So as much in the chat, in the Tweeple chat, as much as I used to be, and so I might be calling him out of name, but leave it for later. I saw him playing guitar today, and I was like, I didn't know you played guitar. He's jamming over there. But in that same sense, if you're an artist, if you're a writer, if you're a producer, if you're a director, if you're a musician, if you want to get your content shared out there, your intellectual property shown out there to people, it's most important that you continue to focus on the steps of sharing your content through media and consistently put out your media. If you're an artist, if you're a musician, you should be putting out music on a constant basis. One finger out, three fingers back. I should be putting out music on a constant basis. If you're a podcaster, you should be putting out podcasts on a constant basis. If you're a writer, you should be putting out posts constantly about your ideas, your concepts on a consistent basis. Everything should be consistent. And consistency with perseverance will get you to your goal. And of course, a little bit of research will never help. Whatever we do, we're constantly learning, we're constantly growing, we're constantly going. Make sure you're doing those three things. Grow, learn, grow, and go. You know, because if you're not doing those three things, learn, go, and grow, well, you're sitting still, you're sitting idle, you know, and idle's hands are the devil's playground. You only do terrible things when you're sitting idle. So I don't suggest anybody sit idle. I don't suggest that we lounge around, lay around, and don't do anything. I think there are a lot of people that are like, oh yeah, I'm happy for vacation so I can sit around and do nothing, but that's not vacation. And vacation, it should be doing something. Like I did take a break. I did take a space and not go to see family because I felt like I've been doing a lot of stuff during this last semester, and I needed a break. I needed to take Christmas and just sit at home and just zone out. Christmas for me was Netflix and chill, and it was great. You know, not that going to see family wouldn't have been great, and it would have been a wonderful experience. Yet I would have been even more exhausted coming back, and I would have still been piecing stuff together in my mind on how I want to do things for my business for my next few years. And I did make that sacrifice. I'm sorry, family, that I made that sacrifice for my business this time, but sometimes we got to take risk and take risks to make this voyage. I'm going to actually spend some time with my mother soon, actually starting tomorrow. Spend some time with my mother and her wife. And then gradually on, I will get down to San Diego and spend some more time with the rest of my family, my sister, my brother, my stepmom, and my cousins, and all kind of stuff. And I definitely need to spend some time with my Uncle Tim out there, UT. I just, you know, I worry about you, Uncle Tim. I worry about you. But anyway, I love you all out there, and all those who follow me on social media, I thank you. I thank you for all your presence. I thank you for all your consistency, constantly motivating me, constantly, you know, coming around saying things that, you know, will spark inspiration within me. And I thank all my friends from 32nd Street, Hamilton, USC, Pierce College, CSUN. I thank all my friends and people from those areas, as well as my veterans, my military friends, those from Kelly Hill as well. Those from Kelly Hill, back in the days when we were a rapid deployable unit, now it's a training camp. Those from 197, those from 3rd to the 24th ID, those from 3rd to 24th Infantry Division, those from 3rd ID. That was Kelly Hill. We went through that succession of changing patches every couple of years there. And come to think, it wasn't there that long for us to change patches that many times. But we also were constantly moving, constantly in the field. And I got to give props to those people there, because we put up with a lot of stuff, and we made it through. You know, those who didn't make it through, God rest their souls. You know, yes, I said God rest their souls, because I just want to generalize that to everybody. Whatever you believe in, your higher power will look over us in some kind of way. And even if you just believe the fact that we go out into the universe and reincarnate into something else, that is our higher power looking out for us. And whether that is the universe itself, the reason why this Big Bang was created, and the reason why we are on this perfect little planet in the middle of this vast universe. We are nothing to this universe, I have to say. But for us to be on this perfect little planet, we have to be special in some kind of way. You know, with that being said, I think we're coming to the last 10 minutes of the show, and in the general aspect of usual radio, this will probably be about the time that we get ready for commercials. But I haven't added commercials yet, and I don't plan on adding commercials yet until I get the particular advertisers I'd like on the hot box. And so before we transition, or before we would usually transition, next show would be coming up, I'd actually deliver what the next show would be for the week and see where it goes. And we'll probably have one different show. We'll probably do a two-hour episode every week of In the Hot Box with one different show until I can get up other shows, like maybe have 6 or 7 shows broadcasting where I just constantly am broadcasting stuff out to you and giving you content that you may want to hear. One of the shows that we will be talking about is a veteran show. I'm not going to bring out all the information about that yet until I sit down and talk with the producer involved. But at the same time, when I sit down and talk with the producer involved, we will put something together that we will definitely put out in a press kit for you right here on Mixer.com, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube, as well as LinkedIn. Can't forget about the LinkedIn, folks. And so stay tuned for more as we get ready for a little bit of a Doc Reo TV, a little bit of a Doc Reo TV radio, a little bit of more. But I got a few shows on the burner. One may actually be a classroom show about media as well. And it won't be coming from me. It might be coming from an actual, I want to say a professor with a PhD. So that's just better to say that, because I am not a professor yet. I do not have a terminal degree, but this particular professor has a show that he would like to put together, and I'll see what's going to happen with his show soon as we get ready to plan this stuff in January so we can start getting shows out to you all. I'll more than likely be back every week with an In the Hot Box broadcast right here, even if it's just for 1 hour. I will come back in the Hot Box just to make sure that we touch base with you and get ready for these Sunday shows, because this is Doc Reo. You know what time it is. It's time for me to get ready to skate on out of here. I know it hasn't been a full hour yet, but hey, I've just gotten back. Anybody who could do 52 minutes without having a full script, without having a full idea, that's just magic, I have to say. I'm skilled to be able to do that. 52 minutes. A lot of people can't get past a half an hour. And trust me, I know because I've been a program director at a radio station, an internet radio station, and I've seen people struggle with making a half-hour show with a guest. So to do it alone without having a guest, without having a script, but breaking through, finding stuff that I want to talk about is ingenious. And I love it when I do it. It makes me excited that I'm able to do it. You see, I'm able to do it so much, I'm trying to even extend this even further so I can get it to 55 minutes. So, and I'm just telling y'all that. Usually I wouldn't talk about that. Usually I won't talk about that. I won't focus on that. But with that being said, if you're out and about during this holiday season, you get ready to go for this holiday season and go out there and party and enjoy yourself. You get out there and you find somebody that you really like and you really want to get with. I want to tell you 2 things. I tell you 2 things that I want you to look out for, all right, this holiday season. First, if you're drinking, using drugs, whatever, I'm just going to put it out there. If you're drinking and you're doing stuff that you shouldn't be doing, please make sure out on this holiday season that you get a Lyft, a Uber, or whatever. Make sure you get home safely. Do not drive. Please do not drive. It is unsafe for 2 reasons. 1, you may kill somebody. You may hurt yourself. 2, you may actually go to jail and lose your license. And both of those reasons are terrible. One more terrible than the other, but please be safe. Think before you drink. And if you think you're drunk, then you're drunk. All right. Now, number 2, the second half of that, you find somebody you might call a significant other, even if it's just for that one night. You find somebody and you think things are going good, make sure you strap it up. Put any kind of brand on there. Strap it up. Make sure that you're protected. Use some kind of condom to make sure you are protected out there, folks. Safe sex is the way to go. Safe sex is best, okay? All right. Just, the life you might be saving may be your own. So that's it, folks. This is Doc Reo. Stay tuned for more as we get ready for me to exit. That's right. Stay tuned for more Doc Reo TV and stay tuned for more In the Hot Box with Doc Reo. I'm out of here. Peace.
There it is. If you need to reach us on Facebook, it's at Doc.Reo, yeah. On Twitter at Doc Reo Rants. On Instagram, the picture way. And every time I come, I'm here to stay. Snapping photos and get it right. It's at Doc Reo tonight. Say, on YouTube, you can't stop. By Doc Reo TV. That's where you see me. That's where you see me. Hit us up on ReoBucks.com. Yeah. Back to your regularly scheduled program now. Peace. I'm out.
Doc Reo TV.